Bloomberg UTV.
Hello and welcome to Financial Planner, the show where we take complex financial concepts and break them down into easy, digestible bits. My name is Smriti Rao. Over the last couple of days, we've taken a lot of viewer queries, so those emails keep coming in. If you have a question about your investments, if you want to know if they're on track, or if you want one of our certified financial planners to take a look at them and tell you if you're on track, write into us at financialplanner@utvmoney.com. Sumit Vaid is here. He's a certified financial planner, also a regular guest on the show. Sumit, welcome. So we have lots of people writing in, as always, asking for advice, and I want to bring up one of those case studies that we have. This is a gentleman who wrote in to us, and he wants to know if his portfolio looks okay. Now, I also want to tell you, if you miss the show, if you don't manage to catch it, you can always catch clips on our website, which is utvmoney.com, or you can just go to Facebook on my page, Smriti Rao, and then you have clips of all the shows over there. As always, we welcome your feedback. Okay, so let's get started. So here you have this viewer writes in, and on the surface he looks like he's someone who knows a lot about investments, has invested all over the place. So I'm going to quickly give you a synopsis of where his money is going. His salary take home is 92,000. His expenses are about 10 to 20,000 each month. So far he's invested in mutual funds, in ULIPs. He also has a PPF going. He's also invested in stocks and bonds. And he has health insurance, but he also has a loan, and the loan is about 2 lakhs, but he's taken it from his parents, so he says he's really in no hurry to pay it off. So probably there's no interest running up on that because it's from his parents. So he sends us a bunch of questions. He just says, you know, am I on track? Does everything look okay to you? So I wanted to ask you, Sumit, what is your initial sense of this person's portfolio? Because like I said, he has investments in everything: mutual funds, ULIPs, PPF. He has health insurance, stocks, bonds. Would you just say that this is someone who's maybe going a little overboard, or is this the way a portfolio is supposed to look?
Thanks, Smriti, for getting me on this show. As we were discussing just before starting the show, I think we are seeing, in terms of queries only on your show, two kind of investors. And let's call them, for lack of any other word, a passive investor who really doesn't know where he is or she is in terms of product knowledge and what he needs to do. Or what we are seeing is hyper investor. Somewhere this category of question or this category of investor fits into a hyper investor kind of a concept. Nothing bad to be hyper. I think it's good to be on top of your money and trying to take as many perspectives of what kind of products you need to get it, but sometimes too much is too much, and I think that's the case there. If you really see the allocations, he's got money in ULIPs, he's got money in mutual funds, and I think if I'm right, 10 of them. He's mentioning
yes,
how many mutual funds?
10 mutual funds and 5 ELSS.
That's true. So almost 15 mutual funds. Then he's talking about stocks, and within stocks he's talking about IPO. PPF, a very smart choice. I think that's a great thing which this gentleman is doing. And then definitely infrastructure bond, which again is good because he's using all the permissible tax planning limits to really plan his portfolio. But the sense is it's slightly hyper. He can generate better long-term returns by reducing the activity of his portfolio, by cutting out kind of products he's getting in.
We'll talk about that, but I want to go through this in a more systematic manner. And here, this gentleman, okay, for the sake of convenience, let's just call him Rahul. Rahul just says, I have stocks, and here's a sentence. He says, I've invested about 8.5 lakhs in stocks. I try and invest in IPOs. I feel these are good. Now, with the sort of glut of IPOs in the markets right now, every week we see 2 or 3 IPOs come out. What would you tell him? 8.5 lakhs. He likes IPOs. I mean, is that a good thing to like IPOs? Is it a bad thing to like IPOs? How should you judge where you should put your money?
The biggest word which I've caught in this sentence is I feel that they are good investments. When you invest or when you do financial planning, stop feeling. You keep your feelings out, because that means you're being emotional. You're not being rational. With money, with finances, with financial planning per se, you always have to be rational than emotional. That's point number one. Point number two is his sense of IPO is coming because currently IPOs have done well. Currently, there are a lot of slew of IPOs which is coming in. The question which we are not able to figure out here, and which we want to ask to most of the viewers who look at IPOs regularly, is that you are investing IPO because you have certain goals to be achieved. Within that IPO will, that particular investment in IPO will help you achieve that, or it's just that it's a flavor of the month, or it's just that the last IPO which came got listed at 50% premium, so your friends made a killing and you think you should be also making a killing, and suddenly it's a flavor of the month by trying to get into IPO. Look at 50% killing, and if you don't make that kind of a killing, it's like a bad investment. So, you know, that's where I said, keep the feelings out. Fit into your financial plan. Come up with a goal. What do you want to do by investing in IPO? How long is the tenure? My worry is most of the time IPO is a listing, perspective. Okay, let's invest in IPO right now. Whenever it lists at premium, let's exit at that point of time. I think that's a huge risk you're taking. It's equivalent to gambling.
Right, and that's 8.5 lakhs. That's a lot of money tied up in something that may or may not work for you.
And Smriti, sorry for cutting you there. Just one more point to a lot of viewers who are watching us. We have seen it repeatedly. Every time Indian market, corrects and start going through a bullish phase, the lot of merchant bankers start talking about IPOs. A lot of companies start hitting it, and coming out with IPOs. A lot of investors suddenly become active by talking about IPOs and start getting into this. And this is precisely my area of, being uncomfortable. I'm asking you a question. Why is right now most of the merchant bankers talking about IPO? Why is more and more companies coming out to market with IPO? Because they're acceptable. So it's a complete greed mentality. It's a herd mentality. Try and avoid it. Okay. Be rational, not emotional with IPOs.
All right. The other thing he talked about is mutual funds. We were talking about that just a few minutes ago. 10 mutual funds is where he's parked his money, plus 5 ELSS. That's a total of about 1.5 lakhs or a little more than that. Do you think that's too much? And this is a problem that a lot of investors have, I feel, especially with mutual funds. Yeah. And now I think things are going to get compounded because you don't have any entry or exit load, so you just have people just accumulating mutual funds. How should you sort of figure out what are the funds that work for you, and how many is a good number? Is 5 a good number, 5 funds, or should be less than that?
See, 15 mutual funds, if you really go back and say each mutual fund having average 50 scripts or 50 shares or equities in that, 15 means, you're talking about close to 750, and there is common stocks also. So you'll be almost minimum 250 stocks in your portfolio. Right. It's almost index. You're sitting in an index, so instead of doing all these complications, go and take a biggish kind of an index and go and invest in that. Go long. Buy futures of let's say BSE 100 or Nifty 500 or whatever. NSE 500. Sorry, Nifty is not a right word. NSE 500 kind of a thing you can buy. And if I'm right, it's my sense, I might be wrong, I think Rahul in this case again would have fallen the same trap like IPO. This time the trap will be NFOs of mutual fund.
Right, because there's so many of them and it's easy to get tempted to.
Not of late. There was an era a year or two back. A lot of them coming back, and most of the retail investors used to think that because it's available at 10 rupees, it's cheap. Instead of investing in a NAV, I think I'll go here, which is wrong. There is no difference between 10 rupees NFO and 100 rupees NAV. It's same because at that day's value. So I think it's that kind of a trap. You should not have more than 5 mutual funds.
Not more than 5.
Ideally 3.
Ideally 3. Is that a great number then? 3.
I personally feel 3 is good in a specific asset class. I'm saying it's not a combination of equity and debt. And between equity and debt, if you're creating an equity debt portfolio, there can be 3 in equity, 2 in debt, 1 in gold, ETF. I think that's sufficient.
Okay, so that's a great idea over there for funds. So again, he's tied up about 1.5 lakhs over there in all those different funds. Make sure you pare it down and maybe bring it up to 3 mutual funds. That would be a great number. Next up, he has 2 ULIPs. One is paid for 5 years, the other will mature in 15. So what do you think he should do with his ULIPs?
Okay, since it looks like they are the ULIP 1 kind of an environment, pre-new regulations which IRDA came out with on ULIPs. So he is beyond the lock-in period. I think if he is beyond lock-in period, depending on what ULIP and what underlying company it is, after doing an analysis along with his financial advisor or planner, if he is not losing too much of money, he should stop them.
He should stop the ULIPs?
Simple reason is he is going to end up paying much more charges being in ULIP of the earlier variety than in the new ULIPs. So that analysis is not a generic one. You cannot go and claim it for every kind of a ULIP. So hence, we are recommending that he needs to sit with his financial advisor or insurance advisor or a financial planner and articulate and go through what is the impact cost of if he exits today and re-enter into some other kind of investments, because a lot of regulations have changed.
Okay.
He needs to do this analysis.
All right, he needs to think about what he wants to do with his ULIPs.
That's
Now,
right.
he has a couple of more questions on his PPF and also on infrastructure bonds. We'll talk about that. We have to take a break now. When we come back, we'll touch base on another portfolio and then come back to Rahul's portfolio and just talk a little bit more about that. That's in a bit. Stay with us.